Hi everybody, welcome to Facebook Live. It is October the 2nd, 2016. It's hard to believe that it's going to be Christmas in just a few months.
Oh, don't even say that.
I know. I'm glad that you guys are here tonight, and I think we should just get started. Believe it or not, I really don't have a lot to talk to you about tonight.
I think you've said that the last 3 times, and it always end up being like 45 minutes.
I know. Hi, Ellie. I'm glad you're here, Ellie. Nice to see you tonight. I hope you're having a good weekend. Hi, Jeanette. Nice to see you, too. I hope you're having a good weekend. And Ruth, I'm glad you dropped by tonight.
I like her last name.
Comfort.
Comfort.
Yeah, I went to school with Lance Comfort. Hi, Debbie. Nice to see you. And Deborah Wilson. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. You know, Jeff, I have to tell you, this eye is getting worse. I really can't read. The other night, hi, Ronnie, and a belated happy birthday to you. And hi, Tim. You should see Tim's work. Holy cow.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm having a really hard time seeing on this. As a matter of fact, in my class the other night, I couldn't even read one of the pieces.
Weird floater thing still?
Yeah, well, I don't know what it is. Hi, Karen. Nice to see you. And Ann, I'm glad you're here. Debbie Furnaz. You know, Debbie and I went to high school together. We were...
way back.
We were together. You know, Debbie, I've been thinking a lot about you lately because, you know, I'm doing this memoir for... writing a memoir for my legacy quilt, and so a lot of stuff that happened while we were in high school was kind of coming up. It's a little weird. Hi, Carrie. Nice to see you. How's Texas? Kathy Brown in Louisiana. We love you, and
hi, Kathy.
I'm glad you're here. Hi, Pat, and Sarah's here, and PJ's here, and Nancy's here. Hi, Nancy, and Lori's here from Iowa City. Hi, Iowa. I love that. And Sue Quinn. Hi, Sue. I just saw Sue at Quilters Take Manhattan.
Oh, you did?
Are you back in, where are you, Saudi Arabia or United Arab Emirates, I guess that's where you are. Hi, Diana, nice to see you. And Bonnie is here. And Ruth, hi, Ruth. I'm glad you made it tonight. And hi, Jackie, I'm glad you made it. And hi, Alice and Nancy Watson. I'm so glad that you're here. Listen, I have an announcement for all of us. It's great news. We watched the debate last week. I guess we don't have to pay income tax anymore.
Well, that makes us smart.
That makes us smart. And not only that, I'm so smart, I'm going to pay all the money I would have paid income tax for more fabric. That makes me smarter. So that's good. So I am not worried about the infrastructure. I'm not paying income taxes.
Well, I was thinking taking money and just getting a big portrait of myself done and hang it in the hallway like one of the candidates did.
Hi, Walter. Walter is a cameraman, very good cameraman. We worked on Ricky Lake together, among other things.
So, Walter, you cringing when you watch this?
No, Walter, I think Walter's a real libertarian, I think. Hi, Sue. Hi, Karen. Hi, Nancy again. Hi, Jill and Martin.
Oh, Maren Hansen's blind. Look at that.
And Linda Rolando. Hi. All right, so anyway, here's what happened. A couple of weeks ago, last week as a matter of fact, I wasn't here. We didn't do this because it was Quilters Take Manhattan in Manhattan, which is a yearly fundraiser celebration sponsored by Quilt Alliance, which is the international the International Quilt Alliance, that really is encouraging us to leave our legacies and saving our stories. And this year, Kay Fassett was the speaker, as was Dr. Carolyn Mizlumi. Now, Jeff and I had actually heard Kay speak at Lafayette College a year or so ago, and it was great. But this one, he knocked it out of the park. I mean, it was different than what he had talked about when I saw him the last time. Very entertaining speaker and really interesting, I thought. Hi, Bonnie Espenshade. Hi, Bonnie Espenshade, as you know, my celebrity my celebrity quilt stitcher husband had just had surgery, and we're glad to hear that he's doing well. And I tried to FaceTime you, Bon, but I know your hands are full. Anyway, so we watched Kate and Liza, my friend Liza Lucy was there, Meg Cox. I once sat on the board of the Quilt Alliance. I'm no longer on the board, but I got to see all my old buddies, and that was really nice. Dr. Carolyn Mizlumi, if you don't know her, really is an expert in African American quilts and collecting them and what have you. And I've known her since my Quilters Home days, and she was just terrific. And I so enjoyed her. You know, oftentimes when you do quilting and you are with a teacher or, you know, you go to a board meeting or whatever, you don't really have a chance to get to know the people that you're sitting with and talking with or being taught from, etc. And she was just terrific. Oh, Susan says I'm looking skinny. Well, Susan, guess what? You might want to adjust your screen.
It's the horizontal stripes I'm wearing.
That's right. Anyway, what do you mean no video there? You can't see me? No sound, she says. Huh, I don't know why.
Try turning your iPad off, wait 30 seconds and start it up again and go in. It may need to reset itself.
There you go. All right, from someone who trains Apple people with Apple products.
Yep.
Anyway, so we did Quilters Take Manhattan, and then they honored me this year, which was really, I have to tell you, I was so touched. I was interviewed for the Save Our Stories, and that is talking about my life in quilting, talking about my, you know, my contributions to the industry, talking about, you know, my first quilt, what turns me on, what do I think the future of quilting is. Marie Bostwick, my very dear friend and novelist, flew in from Oregon to actually do the interview, and I have to tell you, I was so touched. Now, I have been going to these things for many years. Never did I ever see a standing ovation except when I was finished.
Were they leaving?
I think they were. They couldn't wait to get the hell out of there. That's right.
You are so easily confused. They actually stood. I'm lying.
No, they stood, and they actually burst into spontaneous applause during the thing. You know, when you're interviewed in you know, there must have been 300 or 400 people there. When you're interviewed, the truth is, I don't remember anything I said. I was very nervous. It was the first time I was in front of a crowd that large in a year, so I was pretty nervous, and it went well. But I do want to say that it really felt like. I know this sounds a little dramatic, like the beginning of the end for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I felt like I had been validated. I felt like this interview, which is going to be filed with the Library of Congress, was permanent. I felt like it was time to close a chapter. I know that sounds odd, but I felt like I had hit, with that interview, the pinnacle of my whole career. And it gave me the permission to maybe move in other directions rather than what I had always done. I'm not quite sure what shape that will take, but I know that it's moved me in a different way. I don't think I'm going to continue
all that from an interview
in quilting the way I had. Yeah. Well, you know, this has been coming on.
Yeah, I know.
It's been coming on. You know, I'm a no spring chicken, and it was fun. But it's you know, good things come to an end, and you get stale if you don't change. And so I'm starting to change and doing some other thing. Yeah, Maureen, it was like getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. That's exactly what it felt like, and I was so honored and touched by it. And it just was it was a beautiful end to a great career. Not that I'm not going to be teaching next year and whatever. I'm not really retiring, but I am slowing down quite a bit. You know, and then afterwards, Paula Nadelstern, Mary Ann Fons, who was there, and Mary Fons, her daughter, we took a Uber to the east side and had tapas and Prosecco, which was so good.
Which Prosecco?
I think it's like, I don't know, because we're not drinkers, but I think it's kind of a wine. Is Prosecco kind of a wine? Anyway, it's a little bubbly, I think, and I actually broke the glass. I knocked it off the table. Hoppa! But you know, after my first Prosecco, I didn't really care. I barely noticed. Hi, John Strauss, there from Alabama. John's a personal friend of ours. So anyway, that was really nice. And so if you ever get a chance to do Quilters Take Manhattan, and I think it happens every September or every other September, jump at it. Look and join on Facebook the Quilt Alliance site. They do a lot of good work. And I hope that that you really take advantage of all their good work. Now, you know, let's talk about something else we haven't talked about. You know, I started taking voice lessons. Can you imagine? Yes, my instrument is rusty, but I tried. So the other day, I was going through the local newspaper, and I saw an ad saying free voice lessons, 6 weeks, and you don't need to read music. And I'm like, well, that's good. And you don't even need to be a singer. So I said, well, sign me up. Well, I did see you on Facebook where I was about ready to go into my first voice lesson. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I can't sing. Now
I can confirm that.
Yeah, that's not what I was asking.
Oh, okay. Well,
you know what Jeff does? Jeff is, I'll tell you, let me give you a little secret. When Jeff was a kid, he took...
Oh, you're not going to go there, are you?
Yeah, he took accordion lessons.
A noble thing to do. I was trying to save the whole instrument from...
No, John, no free earplugs. John wants to know whether they gave free earplugs. No free earplugs, but I do want to tell you this. They're so damn old, they don't need earplugs. I don't think anybody was young enough to hear. But, so Jeff played the accordion, and when he would do a group play, what would you do, Jeff? Go ahead.
You'd be up on this platform and everybody's parents would be there, and I would so stress out. With my left hand, I'd hold in the air button and just go like that, pretending music was coming out. I didn't play anything, and I moved my hands up and down. That's all I did.
So needless to say, if he were in a chorus, he'd be going like this.
Now, wait a minute. I was in chorus in grammar school for 4 years.
You were?
Yes, I was. Yep.
Well, we see all that.
And I live to tell about it.
So anyway, I went into this group, and it was a really nice group. Granted, they were old, and I'm not exactly 29. So it was nice to be in a group of men that weren't like just watching football. I mean, men don't really get together like women do for those kinds of things, I don't think. And so it was really neat to be in a group of men. They were older. And I thought I would see, I know that this is irrelevant, but I thought I would see a few gays there, maybe even some closet cases, but no one. I guess I'm the only gay in the village. So, as it turns out, what they do when you go there is they hand you a piece of sheet music and a CD with piano music of the different parts, the lead, the baritone, the tenor, the bass. I signed up as a lead, of course, and because you don't need to learn anything. I mean, it's really, it's the main song. It's the song. So
and with your God-given talent,
right,
why not be the lead?
Right. So I auditioned. They made everybody sing out loud by themselves, and I auditioned, and the guy said to me, "Well, I'm either a lead or a bass." So, of course, I took the lead. Who wouldn't? And, of course, you know me. I've had to be the lead. I wanted to boss people around. As it turned out, I practiced that week, and my G.I. Joes were up into my throat. I had a headache every time I practiced. As did
I.
Yeah, it was horrible. So last week I went back and I decided to be the bass. I went to the bass and I started playing the bass, or singing the bass. And I said to Jeff, I guess yesterday, after about an hour of singing this bass without reading music, just trying to follow the words on the page with the CD, I don't think I'm going to continue. First of all, it's not just the time, because it's not that much time. It's like 3 hours a week. But I don't have the passion to sing. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun to try something new. I'm not wearing Depends yet, so maybe I'm just a little too young for the group, and I don't want to have to wear one of those straw hats. Oh, here's the kicker. Not is it just free lessons, but those free lessons are to entice you to join a group called the Harmonizers, which is really a 4-part harmony. What are they called? They're like this,
like a barbershop.
A barbershop. Right? Can you imagine? So I immediately am seeing myself in this little straw hat and a striped vest that I'm going to have custom made from I don't know what, an awning, and
well, people are taking them down this time of the year. Summer's over. You can finally get something cheap.
So anyway, I tried. It was fun. I don't really think my heart's in it, and so I'm not going to continue.
But like I said, you weren't trying to be Whitney Houston. You were doing it for
an experience. I was trying to be Whitney Houston.
Okay, but everybody else said you weren't trying to be Whitney Houston, and it's just a good experience, right? I mean, you tried it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And I was not Whitney Houston. I was more Toady Fields. But
you can take it off your bucket bucket list.
That's off my bucket list. So in the meantime then, I decided to take printing lessons, printmaking class. So I took a printmaking class. My first class was viscosity printmaking, which was really interesting. I had no idea what it was. I signed up for it. It was free, by the way, from the local printmaking center of New Jersey, which is very close to my house. And so, you know, you had to kind of roll this paint and these inks, and then you would make designs on the plate with like combs and brushes and pieces of cardboard and your finger and all kinds of things. And so these are some of the ones I came up with. These are just hideous, but so here's one that I did. Again, it's just experimentation. If you look really closely, you can see the lines. This is a comb. This is where I dropped some of this acid or something. I don't know what it is, some kind of emulsifier on there. This was just with finger, just to make these kind of reeds. This was a piece of cardboard that I just swirled down, and so that's what I did. So it was first on white. It was on white paper, and then I put yellow, and then I did something, and then I put green on top, and I did that. So that's how that turned out.
Are you sure that's not the wallpaper I took down in Fort Lee?
It
looks just like it.
And burned. Well, listen, it's pretty ugly, but what I'd like to do is just kind of cut it up and see what happens with it, right? Then I did. Speaking of cut up, I cut up a bunch of papers and did a bunch of different things. This was just smearing with my finger and some of that, more of that spray cleaner that I put on it. And then here's another one with a couple of different swirls and colors, and here's another one. So listen, it was just about learning how to do it. These aren't, you know, needless to say, these aren't good unless you tell someone you'd like to come up and see my etchings. But you know, they were just kind of fun to do. This one I kind of like. I do kind of like that one. This is alright, but I do kind of like this one. Anyway, so that was that, and then I did another couple of big ones. Here was, after I printed this, and what's really interesting about printmaking is, number one, it's expensive, and you need to buy a bunch of new shit.
And that's a plus?
That's a plus. Well, since we're not paying income taxes, I'm going to be a printmaker. Then the next thing is, after I did it once, then I did it again without re-inking, and I got like a shadow. Now, what the real printmakers do is they'll silk screen over stuff like this, you know? And so this actually becomes a background. They'll do silk screening. And then here was the last one with the purples.
But turn that one over.
Yeah.
Because I still think it looks like a wall with towels hanging on it. See the shadows? It's what it looks like.
I have no idea what it is, but it was just an experiment of putting color different places and whatever. And that was really fun, and it could be very addictive, you know. And if you join this printmaking center, you have studio rights, so you can go and do that. So that was really kind of fun. Then last Friday, then of course I needed an apron, so. You know, you saw this. That was the apron I made. If you look closely, it's all my name. It's just my name written over and over again on my face. Now, people ask if I would sell these. Well, yeah, I'm going to. So as of tomorrow, they'll be on my website, on the Mark Lipinski store at pickleroadstudio.com, the Mark Lipinski store. And you can either buy my face, or if you send a picture of your face with a light source, so it's just coming from one side, plain background, I'll do your portrait in your name on an apron, if that's what you'd like. So that will go on the website tomorrow. I think it might be fun, right? Wouldn't you like to have your face on an apron? It's kind of fun, so we're going to work it out.
Make sure the picture's in focus. It can't be soft and fuzzy.
Yeah, it's got to be hard lines. So
you don't draw wrinkles, do you?
If I did, I would do I wouldn't even need to write my name. I just put.
Okay, that kind of backfired on you.
Sorry, whatever. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. So if you're interested in that, that's just terrific, and I'll put them on the website tomorrow. And why not get an apron with your name on it? So that's that. Now, then Friday I went and I did another class. See, this printmaking center is like crack den, because they give you the first classes for free, and then you got to pay for the rest. I love that. So the last Friday, what I did was a different kind of printmaking, and it was called solar panel printmaking, which was interesting. It's not unlike the CN printing that we do on fabric. Not quite the same, however. With the fabric printing, with the light printing, what you do is you treat the fabric, you put an image or something over it, and then you put it in the light, and then when you take the image off, after the sunlight, then you get the image reversed on your fabric. This is a little different. There's still reverses and whatever, but you actually draw on film, like a overhead projector film with like opaque markers and paints and things like that.
So it's an acetate?
Yeah, like an acetate. Right. Then you put it on these like steel metal plates, these thin steel metal plates that has an emulsifier on it. Then you have this other kind of treated thing that you put on top of it. You put it in this black light box. It's black light, and you put it in there for like 30 or 40 seconds, and then you take it out and you wash off the emulsifier, put it on the ink, and then you make these prints. You put it on the print roller, I don't know what it's called. It's a giant roller. You soak your paper. You set your paper. You put your ink plate down. Then you soak your paper, and you put your paper on top of it, and then you roll it. So here's mine. Here's one of mine, and this is the solar plate. And as you can see, you could tell it's my first one because I got schmutz all here and schmutz all here, but that will come out with like a little bit of sandpaper. And then I tried another one, and it didn't work out so well because it was too light. I must have, when you buff the plate after you ink it, you buff it, and then you make your print. I must have buffed a little too heavily, so it's not quite as dark. But, so I thought with this one, I would just do a little watercolor painting with it. So I have my trusty little watercolor paints here. And I thought that I would just, while I talk to you, just take this and add some color. So, this being a river, this being greens, whatever. So I'm just going to try it right now. In the meantime, Mr. Electric has some news. Go ahead. What's going on with you?
So, if you remember, I guess it was over.
I don't think you ever told them. I've been telling them.
Then it'd be really hard to remember, I guess.
Yeah.
So about 3 years ago, when I was still in my 50s, all right, 59, I was barely still in my 50s, I had a friend that challenged me to make a bucket list. So I put together the list, and 6 months later, she said, go. And I said, it's fine, I've got a full page. And she goes, no, you idiot, how long are you planning on living? You got to do something on the bucket list. So I picked the first thing, which is I always wanted to write and illustrate a children's book. And I've wanted to do this, ever since high school. And even though I was an art director for 30 years in advertising, and I did some writing and did a lot of, mostly art direction, I never felt confident enough and decided that at 60 I better ramp it up because their windows closing, they're not opening up that wide anymore. So I wrote a story and illustrated it, and then I went and I did a second one, and then through a friend I ended up getting an agent, and the agent worked with me for a few months, and we kind of tweaked what I was going to submit, and I think it was on the 5th or the 6th submission, Simon & Schuster said they would like to buy my book for me. So, unlike advertising, which takes, everything was due yesterday, you have long lead times when you're doing, at least children's books. I don't know how it is with a novel. So they have been working with me, and I just went on their site the other day, and I saw in their up-and-coming section on SimonandSchuster.com, they actually have the picture of my book there, and it's going to be coming out in the spring of 2017. So, bucket list item realized. I was thrilled that it happened. It was more the idea of actually stepping into an area I wasn't comfortable with, doing something and making it happen. I'm like shocked. It's like going to the bonus round that it's actually being published. And if that wasn't big enough, I had then decided, well, maybe we could submit the second book. And my agent's like, that's just a bad idea. they never take a second book until the first one's got a track record.
His agent.
My agent, I like saying that, it feels good. So my agent said, well, I've never submitted a second one like that. I don't think it's going to happen, but let's go ahead and try it. And sure enough, they bought the second book and then said, we like it so much, let's make it the first one that we actually produce, and then we're going to move on the second one. So I've actually started working on the second one in production right now. The first book is called Who Broke the Vase? And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to hold on to the rest of it.
And it wasn't me.
Could have been.
No.
All right, who broke the... whatever else I could drop into that line would apply to you. But it's pretty exciting. So I guess the bottom line is if you have a desire to want to do something, you should just go for it. Never say you can't do it if you haven't tried.
Well, interestingly enough, and I do have to say something for Highland Bono. Boy, it's been a long time. I've been thinking about you. One of the things that's really interesting about Jeff that is not so interesting about me, is that he literally gets up every morning at the same time, a few hours before he has to leave for work, and he sits in his little office, like a little rabbit hutch, and he writes. And he writes. And he writes. And he writes. And he just does it every day. He's so tenacious. And nothing gets in his way. And, I gotta say how neat that is because, just a little a day. I mean, he's working a full-time job. I make him cut the grass, make dinner, do the laundry, dust the house.
Shine the bottom of those copper pots. don't forget that.
Yeah, that too. And he still has time to create. So, it is possible for those of us who procrastinate or put it off or think that we can't do it to be able to create.
It was kind of fun for me because I really don't draw. Right. I mean, you've seen my stuff.
Right. And speaking of which, Ronnie wants to know if you illustrated it too.
Yeah, I did all the illustrations. It's that I finally learned a style that worked for me, and that took about a year to kind of just playing on the computer. I do everything in Adobe Illustrator, so it's all electronic. And
I look pretty, Susan. Go ahead.
What'd she say?
She wanted to know what I did.
It's a full-time job trying to look pretty, too.
Yeah, I'm telling you, beauty is sacrifice.
What's Dolly Parton's line? It takes a lot of money to look this cheap.
Yeah, that's right.
So it was just kind of sticking to it and finding my own little, niche. And I went to Barnes & Noble and I looked at kids' books all the time. And I'd go to Amazon and buy books that people wanted to get rid of for like $1 or $2. And I started reading those. And fortunately, if you do a children's book, it's not like you have to write a lot because Mark's always saying you didn't really write anything. It's got, 30 words in it? But
yeah, I used to write a whole damn magazine, and he writes 40 words, and he's like, oh, my agent said.
Well, Simon & Schuster. By the way, did everybody know that in Simon & Schuster, the Simon part, that was Carly Simon's dad? Did you know that?
Everybody knows
I did not know that.
Well, because you're not up on pop culture.
Well, see, it's kind of like that 6 degrees of separation, because I really like James Taylor. And Carly Simon did too. So it's all a big circle now.
Yeah,
I've completed the circle.
But anyway, I think it's really interesting. And you know what? The same is true no matter what your art or what your passion. If there's something you want to try, get up and do it. You're not going to get it done by sitting on your ass or sleeping in or whatever. Get up and do it. And you can. I mean, how did we do a magazine? We never even read a magazine from cover to cover, and we had our own.
You want to know how stressful that was the first time?
Yeah, I mean, we're not kidding. We were not magazine people. And same with the fabric line. We never did a fabric line when people approached us to do fabric.
Well, do they know how that first one happened, how you did it?
No, probably not.
I think you had gone to market or something, came home and said he was really excited that he talked to somebody and they wanted to do a fabric line with us, and I said, oh, that's really cool. And he goes, yeah, it's due in, I don't know, it was like 3 months or something. And I said, who's doing it? And he said, you are. And
he's an art director.
And I went, I've never done that. And he goes, well, you're smart, you'll figure it out. So literally sweat bullets on that one. That one I worked full time, and I'd work till like 1 a.m. when I got home and go to work and then keep doing it. But it's like anything. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right, and you kind of find out how to do it and once you get there, you're like, how did I not know how to do this?
That's exactly right.
That already looks better.
So I was just painting while I was talking to you guys. Well, we were talking. So, look, this is just some watercolor. I'm just going to play with it and see what happens. Anyway, but that's some of the things you could do with printmaking, or I could print over it, et cetera, et cetera. Speaking of writing, I'm taking this memoir writing class in Montclair, and I have to tell you, I am struggling. It is difficult. These people in this class are writers. Now, I've taken a writing class before. It was like creative nonfiction at the Gotham workshop or the Gotham Writers Workshop in Manhattan last year or the year before. And I thought here it is, Susan. Did you see it? I mean, I'm just playing. I mean, this is a crappy print, so I'm just going to play with it and add more color and whatever. I'll show it to you maybe next week. But anyway, Debbie said she bought it because she thought I designed it, but she's more excited because you designed it.
Well, I was the hands. Mark and I collaborate on everything, mostly me. But no, we do everything together when we do stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
I choose the colors that I want, or the designs, or the theme.
Right.
And then Jeff kind of gets to work, and then I say, gee, I would think that, I don't really like that. And he's like, why don't you like it? You can't ever say you don't like anything.
And then you tell him to get out of the office.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, the fabric's not out. I'm using a Winsor Newton. Just one of these portable ones. I have like a ton of watercolors for watercolor classes, but the kind, this just Winsor Newton, Karen, or Joanne. Just like this, that's all. And I just, take it out. It's good for when you want to paint outside or something like that, or just something, want to go into the dining room and paint or whatever.
When you're down at the river.
When you're down at the river.
Landscapes.
That's exactly right. That's right. So anyway, I'm taking this class, and it's really difficult. And I mentioned earlier to Debbie Furnos that, things are coming up. Somebody said to me, you better be careful what you write. You better be careful of your reputation. I'm like, well, isn't that what a memoir is? There's a lot of stuff that happened over my lifetime.
Reputation?
I know, that's what I want to tell you. I don't know. But I've been struggling.
One.
This is how I develop one. So, it's going hand in hand with my legacy quilt. So, it's everything. It's about my parents. It's about my sibling. It's about my kid. It's about depression, mental illness, education, lack thereof, the magazine, the triumphs, the failures. It's everything. It's everything. The kidney transplant, the lung thing. It's everything. So, I'm doing it for me. If people want to buy it, that's great. If they want to read it, that's great. But it's doing it for me, and it's coming out in conjunction with the final legacy quilt. But boy, I'm telling you, these guys are good writers. And I got a really good review last week on my first piece, and then I panicked because, can you replicate that? So that's that.
So let me ask you something, because
I'm going to show some stuff.
Okay, there's two ways you could view that too. That could either be pressure and you think you're going to succumb, or you say, hey, here's somebody I can get inspired by, and you set it as a hallmark for something that you want to go after, right? That's
right.
why
Listen, you write a memoir, people are either going to read it or not. They're either going to judge you or not. And frankly, I don't want to hold back. I'm not one of those people who are not going to tell the ugly side either about myself or about my family or about my...
You're not, or you will?
About you. Of course I'm going to tell everything.
I expect joy and happiness to be mentioned when you talk about me.
Yeah, really.
I have to say
that all depends on how much I have to drink before I go in. Listen, look what I found. Now, I don't know, you guys. Are these sample packs, or do fabric companies sell them this big? This one is from Kona. It's by Anita Grossman Solomon. It's solids. Anita Grossman Solomon designed the solids, and I happen to love Anita Grossman Solomon. And these are called Meadow Bloom by April Rosenthal. They're of prairie grass patterns, and these are Moda. Do they sell these little
Where did you
squares
find
like
them?
this? Well, they came in at Quilter's Lake, Manhattan. You get a goodie bag, and they were in my goodie bag, and I think they are so cute. I can't stand it. Have you seen these? I love these. Look, they're just literally look like what, 2x2s? Do they sell them? Oh, they do. Sherry says they sell them, and she has a bunch.
What do you do with them?
I don't
Really
know.
little quilts.
Really
right?
little quilts.
I guess.
Yeah, they're called charms, Hannah. I love these. I love these. Now I want to start collecting these. What do you think?
No.
Terrific. I love these. And I particularly like this line. So I thought they were just samples, but I didn't realize they sold it. Do they sell them in quilt stores? I've never seen them in a quilt store.
Oh, for hexes. That's interesting.
Well, you could use them.
Yeah.
Bonnie says they're for miniatures, they're for hexies. I don't know. They're 2.5-inch squares, and in this particular one, there's 42 cuts. But anyway, I just wanted to show you what I got. You got, there was a lot of stuff, including Sizex patterns or something in the giveaway at Quilters Take Manhattan. They give away some nice stuff. But anyway, I love this pattern line. And again, this one is called, take a look at it online. It's called Meadow Bloom from Moda. Really pretty colors. And not, there's a lot of that flat graphic look that, I think came in when we were designing fabric.
Yeah.
I can't wait till hell it goes out. I am dying for some florals. I gotta tell you, dying for some florals. Yeah, these would be great for a nickel quilt, wouldn't they? All right, so that's that. What came in the mail? Oh, this. So while I was there, might know Becky Campbell. She's from Sew Forever Quilting. Now, I didn't know Becky Campbell, but when I was doing a piece for Quilting Arts TV, Becky Campbell was doing another episode, so we were both in the green room, and that's when I first met her. And so here she was at Quilters Take Manhattan, and she's selling her new product. And it's called, which I thought was interesting, it's called Stitch Fast, and it's for English paper piecing. Not like paper pieces. Paper pieces, which I love, is the traditional paper piecing to do the glorious, hexie project or whatever. This is a weird thing. Look. So she teaches you how to cut your hexagons to whatever size you need. And if you go to her website, let's see if I have it here, and I'll have it on my blog, but it is www.iquilt.com/Campbell001. Or here's the other one, www.sewforever.com. Anyway, what it is, you buy packages of these hexies that you peel the paper off of the backing, and then they stick, right? And then, rather than, how we traditionally do it, by folding over all of the sides and sewing them down and then whip stitching our hexies together, what you do here is you just take another piece of fabric, put the pretty sides together, and then you just sew along the line and tack it here and tack it there, and then go to the next one, and then go to the next one, and go to the next one, and then you have a hexagon. And then you just unpeel this and put it on another hexagon and start again. Pretty easy. Anyway, if you go to Becky Campbell's site, www.sewforever.com, there's a video of all of the products there for this Stitch Fast method and how she does it. I think it's pretty interesting. And by the way, it's not just hexie. She has the diamond shape, she has the emerald shape, she has all of that. So it's really kind of cool. Hi, Jeffrey Wands. Jeffrey Wands, the psychic. Listen, kids, if you ever need a psychic reading, friend Jeffrey Wands on Facebook, or go to Jeffrey Wands, W-A-N-D-S, on Facebook, and get his information and make a private reading, get a private reading from him. By the way, Jeffrey, I'm going to be calling you soon. I need a private reading. I love Jeffrey Wands. He knows everything. All right, that's next. Whoops, sorry, Mr. Electric.
One move and I'm out of it.
I know, all you had to do. Also, today, guess where I went? I went to my next EGA, Embroiderers Guild of America meeting in Randolph. It was terrific. It was packed with people, lots of nice people, several quilters. A lot of them knew me from the good old days, and really interesting. So I think that's the EGA place I'm going to join. By the way, I'm also going to do some hand patterns of my, and I'll have a better picture of this, but hand patterns of my crewel pattern for sale on my website too this week. So if you're interested in that, and I will hand draw it for you, and you can decide whether you just want the pattern, the flower part, or if you want the background part, which are the locking chains. That too.
Thingies.
Those things.
walking
That's
thingies.
right. So that's that. In the mail, believe it or not, another one, and it's thick. It's the Mississippi Star Quilt Company.
No, it's not.
Missouri Star. Missouri,
It's one of the
Mississippi,
N-word
it's
states.
down there, right? Montana Star Quilt Company. Anyway, did you know this? I was completely unaware. Did you? I don't know where I've been, and because I never cracked the catalog, but I have to tell you, did you know that they offer long arm services there? You send them your quilt, and they'll send you back your quilt long armed.
That's quite a room.
That's quite a room. Well, they own the whole damn town. Really nice catalog that Jenny Doan and her group put together. Really nice. And, I have ordered from them. Of course, I love my, oh gosh.
Long arm?
No, Luana Rubens, equilter.com. I love equilter.com. But I've also ordered a lot from Missouri Quilt Company, and couldn't be nicer, more pleasant people to do business with. I mean, really, since there are no real quilt shops near me anymore, and I actually know exactly what I want, I'm not like guessing on the color, I find them to be great. I really like working with them. So that's that. That came in. And I was really happy with that. Also came in was my McCall's quilting magazine. So this is, I guess, October, November. No, this is November, December. So I guess that's their Christmas quilt.
Year's over.
Yeah. There are a couple. Look, there are a couple of nice quilts in here. I have to say, there are a couple of cute quilts, but frankly, I nothing that really is killing me. I like this one a lot. This is Sarah Wiedler's. I don't know. I'm not sure I like the color. It's just not. I don't know. Lots of nice quilts. This particular issue, sometimes an issue really works for you, and you say, oh my God, I have to do all 18 quilts. And then other times you see an issue of something, and it just it's not hitting you. And so, I don't know, not really hitting me. I wish it were hitting me. This is a cute quilt, but I would probably do it in different colors. Anyway, that's that.
Well, you're not a kit guy. So
I'm not a kit guy. I'm not a kit guy, and I don't like using any one fabric line. Then, folks, I got my last issue of Quilter's newsletter. This is the last issue of Quilter's newsletter. It's so sad.
What do you mean? It's done? Ah.
Yeah, it's done. And it makes me think, don't you think for Quilter's newsletter, I want to see how long it's been in publication. It's been in publication long before any other quilt magazine. There was a little note here saying, sorry, our last one. And it's 47 years. 47
Wow.
years this magazine has been on our stands. Wouldn't you just say something fabulous about it on the front cover? I don't know. Is it just me? Wouldn't you say our last issue, our big blowout, our how much do we love quilting? Something. Boop. Nothing. Nothing, honey. But there's some really neat articles in this one. And I have to tell you, and I think, Bill Gardner, who is the current editor of it, did a really nice job. I mean, this is a magazine that's kind of had its ups and downs and ups again, and I think Bill was doing a great job. I loved some of these quilts that they showed in this last one. When they gave me my interview, they said, who would I like to spend a day with or take a class from? And I said, Nancy Crow. Whoop, look who's there, Nancy Crow. And then there's a guy not so far from here, from Hamburg, New York. You know where that is, right up there, up the hill. And he does these quilts. I thought this was a great article on this guy, Jack. And I love his work.
Is that Poe?
I don't know.
Hard to tell.
Looks like your grandfather. Anyway, but isn't it just wonderful? I mean, I love his work. It's Thomas Eakins. I'm not sure whoever
that is.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. But anyway, great work. It's a really nice magazine, and I have to say, I for one, even though I'm not really, this probably skewed older or what have you, I like this magazine. I liked it, and I'm sorry to say that it's going. But I would have made a bigger fanfare out of it. Elkins is a painter, says Diane. Oh, like me. Oh no, I'm a printmaker. All right, so then I had to get this. You know, the 2016 Special Christmas Ornaments issue is out. They're just cross-stitched.
You know, we could just change the date on that. It would be the same magazine for the last 20 years.
I know, and I have all 20, but I love this magazine. Do you get this magazine? If you're a cross-stitcher, I think it's the best magazine of all the cross-stitch magazines all year round.
I'm kind of losing track, but all the ornaments you've made from all of those, where are they?
I never made an ornament in all the 20 years, but I have to tell you, don't you hate him? Isn't he rude? Does he have no sense of what it's like to
At this point, let's cut out the pictures of the ornaments and we'll stick them on the tree. All right? There'd be nothing green left on the tree.
Okay, so he's right. But every year they give these ornaments, these patterns for ornaments for a gazillion different Christmas ornaments out of cross stitch. And you know what? If you buy one for the year, you literally can do 2 or 3 a month. See, they lay them out like this. So here are all the Santas this year, right? Frankly, they start, you know, after, 15 years or so of having this magazine, they're starting to look a little repetitive. But, I mean, how many times can you cross stitch a Santa, right? But those were all the Santas, and then you'll see one, I don't know whether there's other pages, there's got to be other pages of all the Santas, and then there's like all the snowmen, and I can't really find what I'm looking for. Oh yeah, here we go. These are like the "Oh Come All You Faithful" ones, and then there'll be like religious ones. So let's see what the next group is. The next group is all these little, these are Frosty the Snowman ones, see? I think they're really cute. I love this. Also, it's not cheap. It's $10. Yeah, $10. It used to be cheap, but I have to have it, and so they're just stored with all my other ones from all the past years. And someday I'll do them. You know, that old someday we'll do them. And also, it's kind of neat about this, although I've never done it. Look, here's some more. The beasts, bless the beasts and the children. Is that in the back? Each of the designers who contributed to the issue has a little story about how they spend Christmas or their favorite recipe. What?
Did anybody see my eyes roll back into my head?
It's nice. Now, I never make those recipes, but I think it's kind of nice. I like to hear about them. I think they're kind of nice. He is just an old curmudgeon, that's all.
The tree's up, you celebrate it's down.
That's right. Better Homes and Gardens came this week. You know, I had to buy it because I think it was $5 for 8 years. So it comes to my house. You know, it's really all ads. But I did like this little article. It's how to fiberize your pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns. So I loved all the different treatments, and they give you all the different ideas on how to do this. I thought that was kind of neat. And then there was something in here. What else? I hope I didn't lose the. I must have lost the
marker fell
out. The marker fell out. So now I have no idea what it was I liked. I should have.
It was
turned
cool.
the page. What was it?
I don't know. I'm just assuming it was cool.
He's an idiot. Can you imagine living with this all day? Can you?
I say that every day.
Anyway, that's it. Maybe I didn't find anything else in here other than, putting avocados on your eyes. But I really like this article. All right. So, and by the way, this is only, how much is this magazine? Nothing. $3.99 for a magazine. That's pretty cheap, although I think it's still probably too much for this. Then I got my other books. Remember I told you I ordered them and I got them for practically free? Cruel Intentions, which, by the way, is going to be my new drag name. I've decided that if I was ever going to be a stitching drag queen, my drag name would be Cruel Intentions. And then this one, which is called Cruel Twists. This woman from South Africa is named Hazel Bloomkamp. And wait till you see, I mean, you look at this. She weaves her crewel work. It is just absolutely insane. All of these techniques that she teaches you in this book. Now, crewel work is traditionally wool, but she uses silk, she uses cotton floss, she uses rayon, and I have to tell you, there is nothing about this book that doesn't absolutely turn me on, from the photographs to the instructions, which are very clear, and everything else. So I am literally going to use this book to put together my own crewel piece. Now, this is fresh ideas for Jacobean embroidery, but where do you see, what is in all this? Oh, it's receipts and all kinds of stuff. Where do you see, look at this, look, she uses the silks as the backgrounds. Where do you see, look, this is some of the ways she teaches you to do fill-in, these kind of embroidered lace that she puts into her pieces. Do you see that? And look at the pieces. I mean, they're just spectacular. Anyway, this one is called Crewel Twists, which is going to be Jeff's drag name. And this is Crewel Intentions, which is going to be my drag name. And they're amazing books.
My drag name is done the old-fashioned way.
What?
The name of your first pet, and the name of the street you grew up on.
Okay.
So mine is Jaja Novara. You can't make this up.
Well,
that's
a
good one,
that's
isn't
Jeff,
it?
Yeah, Jeff. Betty Pillsbury's Crazy Quilting book did come out, Laura, and it's sold out on Amazon. And just the other day, I read that it is back. Now, I pre-ordered it, but yeah, it's back on. And hers is a crazy quilting book, and she is another one who does simply beautiful, beautiful work. And Hazel Blomkamp, Bloomkamp, as I told you a couple of weeks ago, also has a crazy quilt book that is beyond amazing. So, you can get that book on Amazon. Last but not least, I don't think I have a whole lot more to talk to you about, is I got my Vanity Fair, which I love. Now, the boss, New Jersey, has a new biography, a memoir out, so that's interesting. But there wasn't a whole lot in this magazine I really enjoyed either. But first of all, I love this painting, and I stopped, and it looks like the new season of Transparent started last week or the week before.
It's a good series.
Do you like the series?
Yeah, I think it's neat. It's disturbing, that's why I like it.
I hate that family, and I find myself wanting to eat Cheetos all through the show, because they just make me anxious.
Yeah, but it's better them than us. I mean, that's why I like watching it, right?
Yeah.
It makes you feel better about yourself, even though it's fictitious.
Yeah, I don't like it. One photo that stopped me dead in my tracks here in Vanity Fair was this photo taken in 1967 at the home of Jimi Hendrix. Look at all those patterns and inspiration in that photo. Well, you just know that this is going to be cut out and put into my inspiration book. I loved that photo, and I love the way all of these kind of ethnic boho, what we now call boho chic, but all these ethnic patterns just kind of mixed together. Very, very pretty. I really like that. That's it. The only other thing I can talk about is that I was on my way to my solar plate, my viscosity printing class, and I had to drive through a local community college, or I drive past it. Instead, I decided to drive through, because all the years that we've lived nearby, I've never been on their campus. So I drove through, and as I was driving, I saw what appeared to be a raku glazing station outside of this big tin-walled building. Well, I couldn't stop my car fast enough, and I got out and I walked in. And I'm not allowed to be on that campus because I'm not a student and I'm not faculty. But when you get to be so old, people don't stop you when you do stuff. So I parked my car in an illegal parking zone, but I put on my flashers and I walked in. They had the most rocking ceramics studio that I have seen since I myself was in college, and I used to raku. Now, I was a big hand builder in college, so much so that the head of the ceramics department took me aside one day and asked me if I wouldn't change my major to ceramics, which of course would have killed my parents, caused a rift, and I would be living out in the street somewhere. So I gently declined. But I haven't picked up clay for 30 some years, and I think that next semester, in addition to my writing, rather than taking printmaking and really pursuing that because it's too expensive, and I don't really have the materials are expensive, and I'm not really into getting a bunch of new materials. I think I'm going to take a semester at the local community college in hand building. Which, as I said, I have a little experience, but why not? I mean, again, we're not going to live forever. You got to do what you got to do when you're going to do it, right?
Yep. Sounds like fun.
That's right. Yeah, I could probably, and I do have a kiln. Mary has a glass kiln, Kidney Mary. I have a clay kiln that I got that is at Kidney Mary's house because she wanted it at her house. Then she ended up getting herself a potter's wheel, which she's never used before. It's also sitting at her house.
Now you know why they're identical twins. Separated at birth.
I'm like, okay, if you want to store it at your house instead of my garage, that's fine with me. So next semester I think I'm going to be doing some hand building. With this printmaking and the clay, my reason for going was not to learn classic printmaking, or in this case, classic hand building or throwing. It's a way to figure out how I can incorporate my fabric work into clay or into printmaking. That was my goal. And, it's also really fun just to keep on learning, isn't it? That's what I want to do. I found this great article, by the way, and we're going to be hanging up soon, but it's the 10 fundamental truths that we forget too easily.
Okay. I can't remember any of them.
All right. Well, the first one is and this is what propels me. These kind of articles propel me to take a class in something that I have no experience in. Great success is often preceded by failure.
Just removing one thing off the list.
Oh my God. Speaking of salt in the wound, Ronnie just asked if I ever finished the baby quilt. No. It's almost
You
finished.
mean the high school quilt?
It's almost finished. I have to tell you. Ronnie, I've got to tell you something. I've been doing squares and triangles and seams and designs and teaching and for so long that and certainly within the last year when I hadn't left the house even, I'm bored stiff. And that's the other reason that I'm kind of, trying new things. I'm totally bored with it. I'm bored, not that I don't love quilt making, not that I don't love designing quilts or fabric and teaching, none of that stuff, but I just felt so unchallenged. And I'm, look, I could challenge myself with like amazing quilting, but that doesn't really interest me. Or I could, do another line of fabric people were asking me for, and I feel like I've been there, done that. And people keep asking if I'm going to do another magazine, and I think not. I've already done that. I just need to kind of grow, and it's gotten so bad that I can't even finish the quilts that I want to finish in my heart, but I just am just bored. And unless there's someone here sewing with me, I have really no interest in being solitary. I've been solitary for a good year or so, and I need to kind of break out of that.
And I will not learn how to sew. Sorry.
So that's really the truth. So the great success is often preceded by failure. Since I clearly am a vocal coach dropout, I may end up being on some stage near you. That's number one. Number two, JK's is exactly my dentist because, I haven't been there in a while. And I know I need to go. I haven't been there it's probably
I'm going to go
a couple of years.
See them next week.
Well, you paid for their new addition to their house.
That's
but
right.
I need to go. I know I need to go. My teeth, when your teeth need to be cleaned, you kind of feel it. And mine are there. Okay, so that's that. The next one is, are you ready? Fear is the number one source of regret. And I have often dealt with that. But when I was in the hospital, I decided to give it up. Remember, I said I was never going to do another thing. If I ever get out of here, I will not do one more thing that doesn't bring me joy.
Right.
So now I'm pushing myself into situations that might be uncomfortable and are new, but it's pushing me in creative areas. And I encourage you to do it. Once you get there, it's fine. It's just kind of like working up to it that kind of sucks. Your self-worth must come from within. Now that's hard for people who
Ooh, that's a good one.
don't have a lot of self-worth, But, I'm always so influenced, just like the woman said, when you write your memoir, you're going to ruin your reputation, or be careful of your reputation. And I'm thinking to myself, and as this article points out, everybody has an opinion. You need to do what feels right in here.
Right. Yep.
And so I need to be truthful and honest with what I'm writing and transparent, and that's what I plan to do. But that's the only way I could feel good about writing this. If I'm just going to bullshit you, what's the point? And, we've all read memoirs which are like, not really the truth. I want to hear the truth, right?
Yep.
Oh, Karen said she'll come and she'll clean my teeth. You're going to need a backhoe and a power washer.
I hope she's a dentist.
No. Well, see, Lynn, one of my old colleagues.
There you go. Exactly what I said.
What
Lynn. What
reputation? That's exactly right. You're only as good as those of you. You're only as good as those you associate with, which is why Lynn and I are not in close contact anymore. So that's something that you need to consider. And life is short. And it doesn't matter whether you're 23 or whether you're 93, life is still short. So you have to remind yourself, according to this author, every morning when you wake up that every day is a gift, and you need to make the most of what you're given.
Yep.
The moment you start acting like your life is a blessing, he says, that's the moment your life will start becoming one and acting like one. So it's kind of like a fake it till you make it. I like that. That's good to know. You don't have to wait for an apology to forgive. Many of the people we harbor resentments from, we haven't spoken to in like 18 years, or they're 6 feet under, or whatever. You got to let it go.
Well, most of the time, do you remember what you were mad about or angry?
No.
I mean, it's like
no. And
history
why
at that
would you
point,
let
right?
grudges from like 3 years ago ruin your day to day or ruin your future? So get rid of it. It doesn't mean you got to forgive them. It doesn't mean you condone what they've done to you. Listen, I've done some pretty shitty things to people. People have done some pretty shitty things to me. I hope that I'm forgiven.
I'll let you know later.
I forgive that. I'm sure no. and Lynn forgives me.
See, she's on the road to healing.
I know, she really is on the road to healing. You're living the life we have to remember that we live the life that we've created, right? So that's also good. So if you're feeling stuck, like I had been, it's probably because I created that. I never left the house. I was like worried about what I was going to do in the quilting industry. I was afraid to say, I'm just a little tired of it. I was afraid to kind of move in other directions because I really wasn't an expert in those directions. And of course, if you're not an expert, in my house, you can't do it. So if you're feeling stuck and you probably created it, it's time to uncreate it or create something new. Also live in the moment, which is really the slow stitching movement. It's like being present. Just accept your past and accept the uncertainty of the future. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You can't change yesterday. You just got to be here in the moment. And today was a good example. I had a little argument with
Not me.
the child, and he loves to call to bait me, and I just had to remember, this isn't, let go of it, because it was really weighing on me and kind of ruining my day. I was just feeling so anxious as a result of some of the things that he had said, and unfair, which I thought was unfair, and you just kind of have to let go of it. I love them, but sometimes you don't like the people you love, case in point. And then change is inevitable. You got to embrace it. So that's some of the things. That's it. And if you know that change is inevitable, then when change comes, it's not such a trauma. We all suffer loss in various degrees, right?
Yeah. Well, what's the saying? The only constant is change, right?
Right.
I mean, that's
you just have to, as Linda said, new things get you excited.
Yep.
And so I'm just urging you all to go out and try some new things. It works for me. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. Shelley says it's like an audio book for self-help. I don't mean to sound preachy. I don't. I just want to share with you what works for me, and take what you need, leave the rest for somebody else. All right, yeah, right, Karen. Kids or grown-ups, they could both. When they're children or when they're adults, they can still be a little rough. Today was a rough one. That's it for this week.
Yep.
Again, we didn't really have a lot. I hope that you have the rest of the evening is really good for you, and you have a great next week. It's been interesting. I haven't really been online all that much, just a couple of times here and there, but I've really been busy. I've either been writing all day, or I've been going to classes at night, or learning how to sing, and so it's really kept me busy, and it feels good when I go to sleep at night. It feels good that I worked a really good day.
You made the most of the day, right?
I did indeed.
Yeah.
And I hope that you make the most of your day. Thanks for tuning in with us, and all this stuff will be on marklipinski.com on the blog tomorrow, as will the apron and the crewel design in the marklipinski.com store. And peace out, everybody. I love you all, and thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them down here. I'll answer them, or leave them on the blog, or leave them on YouTube, because this is eventually posted to YouTube, and I'll answer them. Anything else you need, just give me a call if it's important, and maybe you might hear from me when I open up my angel book this week. Alrighty? So sleep tight, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.